What's up everybody, it's your boy Just That here. If you didn't see from the last video, I played Battlefield 6. And let me tell you, I want to play it again. It kind of reminds me of that one scene in SpongeBob where Neptune eats like a Krabby Patty and then like he spits it back out and eats it again. The Battlefield 6 beta was absolutely just comfort food to me. But even though I think this is a great start to a really good game, I want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly with Battlefield 6 beta. This is probably the first time in a long while that I've played a beta and it's not buggy or messy. The only two strange things that I came across was like this weird fidelity glitch where stuff will flicker and shit. And then maybe my frame generation being laggy for some reason. But the majority of the time I played on this game, it was pretty solid. Now my specs is a RTX 4090 with a Ryzen 7 5800X 3D. And I was a little disappointed just right off the rip only getting 90 FPS. But when you turn on frame generation and DLSS, you get a solid about 160 FPS. Depending on what's going on in the environment and all that shit. Now depending on if you hate frame generation or DLSS, I mean that's up to you, but every time when I use it I don't really notice anything. I feel like it's just so hard to tell that when you're in a gunfight you're barely gonna notice it. That's my opinion. Now let's go ahead and talk about Battlefield style. And I know there's just some people that are saying, well, Battlefield 6 looks like a generic FPS shooter, and that's pretty much what I want, yeah. Now, when I made the video about if Battlefield 6 will kill Call of Duty, I felt like the way I worded it was very wrong. Basically, what I said in that last video is I said men want a realistic and grounded shooter, and the way I think it's true to a point. Now, obviously, gameplay always comes first. That's mainly the reason I didn't talk about gameplay, is mainly because I feel like everybody knows that gameplay always comes first, you know? I do think men really like realistic and grounded shooters, but at a certain point. You know, I don't think a lot of people want to actually get a bunch of bullets and have to manually put it into the magazine. Men do not want a real life military simulator. Men want a military game that looks like a real life military simulator. And if you think I'm wrong, you can say that. But how does Battlefield 6 already have 600,000 pre-orders? And I think where Battlefield 6 is heading is just absolutely scratching a huge itch that people wanted, which is a game that looks realistic and feels pretty tactical, but also realizing that it's just a video game. Let's go ahead and get really deep in the meat. Let's talk about the gameplay. I have never seen a perfect time to kill in a long while. The last one I remember that was a perfect time to kill was maybe Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I'm not joking. The time to kill in Battlefield 6 is it's fast, but it's also not bullet spongy. I don't feel like I'm wasting my whole entire magazine just to kill one person. Which, depending on how you play, you can really stack up the kill feed. For example, in this gameplay, I was able to get right behind the enemy, and I managed to pull off an 8-man kill feed. Now, there are some weird things with the hit detection. For example, I shot an RPG right under this guy's feet, and it did no damage, but a frag grenade did 100% damage for some reason. What? Dude's Iron Man! What the fuck? That's some horseshit! Oh yeah, a fucking RPG missile doesn't kill him, but a frag grenade does. That's some crazy ass shit. So, it's not perfect, but when it works, it's nice. It's really nice. I think it's time to talk about the elephant in the room and why shotguns are stupidly overpowered. Now, I don't feel like this is a big surprise because every multiplayer shooter I've ever played has a shotgun problem. It's either too weak or too overpowered. And it's just one of those types of weapons that is just really hard to get right. And why it's so difficult is basically in real life, if you shot someone point blank with a shotgun, it would turn their head into an ashtray. Hell, just a history fact for you, in World War I, Germany tried to protest to the United States to ban the trench gun because of how devastating it was. They basically claimed that it was unnecessary suffering, even knowing the Germans were throwing mustard gas, which I think is way much worse than a trench gun. But you see what I mean, it's hard to make a gun feel fair when the gun is already OP in real life. But other than that, it seemed like all the other guns were alright. It kind of has that kind of typical Battlefield progression where you start off with like shitty guns that like don't do any damage until you start leveling up and you start getting better guns, and then like those guns like do better damage than the guns you get. Now, when it comes to map variety, it's kind of like, eh. There was one good map I did like, and it was this map that's on screen right now. I really like this one. This one was really good. But all the other maps kind of felt like custom, like, creator Far Cry maps. The Conquest maps were kind of better, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm more talking about the Domination maps. A lot of the maps just don't seem like they flow right. And like, it seems like there's some design things that are like really questionable. Like, for example, like when I had a light machine gun on top of a rooftop and like I saw their spawn, like there was nothing blocking their spawn. Like I could see them like actually over there like holding up in their spawn. I think one of the things they should improve upon is like the maps, especially for like Domination. Now, when it comes to the Conquest maps, you're going to be probably disappointed, especially if you're like a diehard like Battlefield player. The maps have gotten smaller, and this is actually turning off a lot of hardcore Battlefield fans. And I don't blame them, because the Conquest mode for Battlefield is really what makes Battlefield Battlefield. Especially when you have like a large map of like 64 and 64, and then you're trying to capture fucking Bravo, and then you see planes heading by and like helicopters shooting fucking people down, and like you got this guy with the RPG trying to blow it up. It's pretty much what set Battlefield apart from Call of Duty. And seeing Battlefield tried to kind of emulate Call of Duty, I could see why Battlefield players are kind of pissed, especially the ones that have been here since like Bad Company or like Battlefield 3 and 4. I don't think there's nothing wrong with these small Conquest maps, but I think if they want to win over like the hardcore Battlefield fan base, we're going to need bigger maps. And the last thing I have to talk about is cheaters. There are already cheaters in Battlefield 6. There was only one weekend that the open beta was open, and they already have cheaters in it. Now, this is a huge problem that Battlefield 6 has right now, and I hope they have some kind of solution to ban these cheaters. I think people that are trying to aim hack, wall hack, or try to get some advantage over a player that's outside of the video game is something that infects the product, and I think companies should take more seriously. This isn't like Grand Theft Auto 5 where you like download a Hulk mod and it's like, oh well, you're by yourself in a single player game. When someone starts aim hacking, cheating, and doing all this stupid shit, it makes people kind of think, well, why am I trying to play this game legitimately when these guys are not playing legitimately? And then that's what makes you really quit a lot of games. And like I said, they need to really do something about all these damn cheaters, because it really does affect like their odds of like actually spending microtransactions in their stores, or makes them less trustworthy to like the customer. All in all, even though in Battlefield 6 has a couple of problems, I do think this has the potential to be like a good game. Now, would I have pre-ordered Battlefield 6? I don't know about that. I feel like this game could be decent enough for at least $70. I think this game could be great if they fix a handful of the problems that they have with it right now. But all in all, tell me what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, skiddly bubbly boop. I'm out.